tonight, the latest scientific solutions to staying young and healthy. We start aging from the age of 20, and this phenomenon is faster in women. Women's skin wrinkles faster, while baldness affects men 5 times more. Skin, hair, weight. Why are there such differences? Through amazing experiments, you'll find out everything. Some foods have incredible anti-aging properties. Fruits or vegetables, their bright colors indicate that they contain antioxidants, essential to preserving our youth. Which ones should be favored? Applied on the face in beauty masks, do foods have a real effect on our skin? There are currently 25,000 centenarians in France, and it's estimated that 1 in 2 children born in 2016 could reach 100 years. What are the secrets to living a long and healthy life? Is there a genetic factor? Does our real age always correspond to the age of our body? That's what Maclesky wanted to find out. Skin, hair, weight. With age, everything changes. But men and women aren't equal in the face of aging. It's said that women's skin loosens faster. Is it true? Why does baldness affect men more than women? And do we gain weight in the same areas of our body? When you get older, your face changes, and that applies to both men and women. This is Martine, a 59-year-old photographer.
I first noticed my wrinkles when I started wearing glasses, when I was around 45.
The same goes for Danielle, a 67-year-old actor.
Here, for example, I was 25 years old and my skin was tight and not wrinkled.
As incredible as it may seem, our wrinkles begin to form around the age of 20. Our skin is a tissue that loosens, especially where it works the most: the corners of the eyes, on our forehead, and around the mouth. This is where the wrinkles eventually become visible.
A wrinkle is a break in this fabric that initially, like a rubber band, will go back to its shape like a memory foam mattress. And when you get older, it doesn't go back to its shape anymore. It cracks when you do this, here. And when you stop doing that, it remains wrinkled.
Our skin is composed of 3 layers: the epidermis, the dermis, and the hypodermis. And it's deep in the dermis that aging takes place. But what specifically is going on in our skin when it gets older? To find out, we go to the Central School of Lyon. Hassan Zohani is a tribologist. He studies the science of friction and wear.
The aging of the skin is due to a weakening of the resistance of certain pillars, as in a structure. These pillars are fibers, collagen and elastin, which come from inside the dermis and give the skin a certain mechanical structure with a tight membrane.
Like in a tent, these fibers are the stakes that support and stretch the canvas. Collagen ensures the firmness of the skin, and elastin its elasticity. If they disappear, the canvas relaxes and gets larger. Look at these images of our skin under the microscope. At 20 years old, these fibers form a very tight network that allows the skin to be tight and firm. Clearly, when it's pinched, it instantly returns to its original position. Then at around 40 years, the fibers weaken. We can see that the grid is becoming wider. But are men and women equal in the face of this aging?
Men and women aren't equal at all in the face of aging, because it occurs earlier and more suddenly in women. In men, it occurs much later.
Nature isn't kind to women. On average, the aging of their skin becomes visible 5 years earlier than that of men, because their dermis is different. Let's do a test. This is Coralie and Paul. They're about the same age. They'll receive a small amount of ultra-fast air pressure on their arm.
We will generate a distortion, and it will spread like when we throw something into water.
We'll then measure the speed of the wave's propagation between these 2 points, separated by 10 millimeters.
If you have firm skin, the speed will be greater. If, on the other hand, we have a skin that is beginning to lose its mechanical tension, this speed will be lower.
Let's go. After a few minutes, the verdict is in.
For Paul, for example, we have a speed of 1.5 meters per second, whereas for Coralie, we are in the order of 1.2 meters per second. The mechanical tension exerted by collagen and elastin fibers in Paul is much greater than in Coralie.
If the wave spreads faster on poor skin, it's because it's firmer and tighter. And that's the case for all men. That's the reason why their dermis is more resistant to aging. Another advantage, it's thicker in men than in women.
The thicker the skin, the less the effects of the rarefaction of cells and fibers will be apparent.
But rest assured, ladies, there are still ways to keep your skin young.
First, don't expose your facial skin to direct sunlight, especially when the sun is at its zenith. Getting sunburnt on the face will add on 10 years. Second, don't smoke. Tobacco is the next worst enemy after the sun. Third, you have to moisturize the skin with creams that are composed of mixtures of oil and water. If you don't have any, use some olive oil and lemon juice.
Once again, to keep skin young, avoid sunburn. That damages the cells of the epidermis. Definitely no smoking, and remember to hydrate your skin. If men have a clear advantage over women regarding aging of the skin, this is not the case when it comes to hair. In France, baldness affects 10 million men compared to only 2 million women. And among men, it can start very early, from 20 years old. Here's why.
Normal hair will renew itself about 30 times and will last 3 to 5 years on average.
In people predisposed to baldness, the hair is renewed, but it weakens and regrows more and more thinly to eventually disappear. How do we explain such an anomaly?
Baldness is due to a combination of maternal or paternal inheritance and the sensitivity of the follicle to male hormones.
In other words, if your father and grandfather have thin hair, it may also happen to you. Along with this genetic heritage is the added effect of testosterone, the male sex hormone that we all produce. In some, hair follicles are sensitive to this hormone, which can lead to baldness.
Both men and women are sensitive to male hormones or testosterone, but there are obviously more present in men.
In fact, men produce far more testosterone than women. That's why they're 5 times more affected by baldness.
In men, it will mainly affect the front of the head and the crown in the back, while in women, it will cause a much more general thinning over the entire cranium.
Unlike skin, women's hair is stronger. As we age, our weight also evolves, and again, men and women aren't equal. Like Catherine, women often find it harder to keep their figure, and weight goes straight to the hips and thighs. In men, the problem is elsewhere.
I gained weight around the abdomen, and I have what is commonly called a spare tire.
But why this difference?
We're not equal from the start. We women have 20 to 25% fat in our body, while men have 10 to 15%.
Physiologically, women have more fat cells. And they aren't located in the same places. In the lower body in women and in the upper body in men. But during the menopause, everything changes.
As we get older, our female hormones disappear and only male hormones remain in our bodies. And so we're masculinized. So we keep our strong thighs, and in addition we get broader around the chest and the arms. We become the equal of a man, but I don't think we're talking about the exact same subject.
If women have more trouble losing weight, it's because they have fewer muscles than men to burn calories.
The body is a boiler that burns more or less whatever it receives, and the muscles are involved in burning calories. And from the moment we have less muscle, we burn less.
But rest assured, even with age, gaining weight isn't inevitable.
How do we fight against that? Eat well, stay active. Everyone at their own pace must do regular physical exercise.
Skin, hair, weight gain, If men and women don't age the same way, it's simply because we're physiologically different. Red fruits, colourful vegetables. Some foods are great for keeping our skin young. But do they really contain anti-aging molecules? Food-based homemade masks. Do our grandmother's recipes for maintaining beautiful skin really work? With scientists' help, you'll learn all about foods that keep us young. Look closely at this stall of colourful fruits and vegetables. Did you know that broccoli, peppers, tomatoes or carrots have incredible anti-aging properties? But what's their secret? We asked a nutritionist.
The red colour is a very good indication. It indicates the presence of polyphenol and lycopene, which are strong antioxidants. So we're going to find some in tomatoes, strawberries, and notably beets.
Antioxidants are naturally occurring molecules in some foods. They slow down the aging of our cells. The top 3 foods that contain the most are artichoke, broccoli, and the darkest red fruits. Conversely, cucumbers, zucchini or melons are those that contain the least.
My advice would be to eat colourful things. Eat a rainbow.
But how do these antioxidants slow down aging? To find out, let's do a little experiment.
So here we have an apple and lemon juice. I cut my apple, we'll cut it in half, and on one half we'll apply lemon juice for its antioxidant effect.
The antioxidant of lemon is simply vitamin C. And watch how it works.
After several minutes, we can observe both parts of the apple. There's a half that has browned due to oxidation on one side, and on the other, the apple remained intact, thanks to the antioxidant power of the lemon. So it protected the cells of the apple.
The lemon juice and the vitamin C it contains will prevent oxygen from the air oxidizing our apple. It's therefore an antioxidant. In our body, it's the same phenomenon. The activity of our cells produces waste, among which we find unstable and highly oxidizing molecules, free radicals. They're the ones that age our body, just like our apple when exposed to the open air. On our skin, this is particularly visible. Remember, aging is mainly about the cells of the dermis, which are below the epidermis.
So in the dermis, there are small cells called fibroblasts that will synthesize a whole lot of fibers that contribute to the skin's elastic and firm properties. As the skin ages, these cells will produce less fibers, and therefore the skin will sag and create wrinkles.
To limit this aging process, it's essential to eat foods packed with antioxidants.
Diet will mainly impact the dermis, where the antioxidant molecules that we will ingest will help limit the degradation of elastic fibers and collagen fibers, and thus allow the skin to keep its firmness and elasticity.
And it's never too early to start, because remember, we begin to age from the age of 20.
Apart from fruits and vegetables, there are other foods that contain antioxidants, especially tea, cocoa and dark chocolate, which contain polyphenols, which are powerful antioxidants. They're also present in vegetable oil, or seeds in particular, a lot of vitamin E which protects our cell membranes.
Pascal, a 57-year-old Parisian, realized that to age well, certain foods were precious allies.
I eat lots of fruit, sometimes a little too much, and a lot of vegetables. I go to the market every week and fill my basket with fruits and vegetables. It's Mother Nature who offers them, so it would be a shame to live without them.
Thanks to this diet, Pascal maintains a young appearance.
I'm going to retire soon, and when I say that to my colleagues, they say, "But how can you retire? You're not allowed to, you're too young."
According to the recommendations of the World Health Organization, we should consume at least 400 grams of fruit and vegetables every day. For example, 2 tomatoes and an apple, or 2 carrots and an orange. For now, only 1 out of 2 French people observe this recommendation, so make a little effort. If science closely studies the action of antioxidants, there's also another reason. Emmanuel Kess, a researcher at the National Institute of Agricultural Research, conducted a study. For 8 years, 13,000 people received low antioxidant tablets to simulate a balanced diet and respect the recommended 5 fruits and vegetables per day.
For people who consume fewer fruits and vegetables, we can see that this supplement has a real role in the quality of aging. Again, the hypothesis that we can draw is that this supplement corrected the lack of intake of antioxidants in individuals who were weak.
With the same dose of antioxidants that they would have found in a balanced diet, the study participants, and especially the men, grew older in better health than the control group. To go even further, since 2009, the laboratory is conducting another study, but this time on 150,000 people.
Thanks to this tool via the internet, we have the opportunity to record the eating habits of everyone involved. Then, in a second step, we ask them to estimate the portion that they consumed.
While waiting for the results, put apples, red fruits, avocados or artichokes in all your meals. Foods have anti-aging properties if we eat them, but do they have them if we apply them directly to the skin as a mask, as our grandmothers did? Audrey Kay, 27, is an expert on this subject. She's a beauty blogger. Today, she'll test some homemade masks on her friends.
Wow, we almost want to eat it.
For Christelle, a mask of egg whites is an astringent, which means that it tightens the pores of the skin.
Beaten egg whites have anti-aging and antioxidant properties. They'll eliminate dead cells and detoxify the skin.
And for Audrey, a nourishing and moisturizing mask.
This one is moisturizing. To make it, I need a banana, a teaspoon of honey, and a teaspoon of sweet almond oil.
In other words, a cocktail of antioxidant vitamins A, C, and E. But do these masks have a real effect?
The principle of a cosmetic is that it cannot penetrate the epidermis. It's the same for these homemade products that are actually handmade cosmetics. So we will effectively have a superficial hydration effect, possibly a superficial antioxidant effect, but we will not be able to fight against the phenomena of aging.
These masks will give you an instantaneous little boost, but will have no lasting effect on the age of your skin. Finally, drinking more than 1.5 litres of water a day will not prevent your skin from dehydrating. Above all, it's necessary to maintain the hydrolipidic film on the surface of the epidermis, thus moisturizing the skin from the outside.
The important thing is for the skin to remain waterproof, either by respecting the sebum levels or by applying moisturizing creams that are in fact fatty substances that we put on the skin to waterproof it, in the same way we would waterproof a garment.
For a lasting anti-aging effect or for a simple boost, you now know which foods will help you fight against time. What if in the future being a centenarian becomes the norm? In France, there are about 25,000 people today who belong to this venerable club. That's 15 times more than in 1970. And there could be 200,000 centenarians by 2060. What are their secrets for staying in good shape? How can we live better and as long as possible? Let's investigate. Robert Marchand was born on November 26, 1911. He courageously made it through the 20th century and continues his way with an energy that leaves his friends perplexed.
Despite him being 104 years old, there are many people who cannot keep up with him.
Yes, well, that's for sure.
So what did he do to stay healthy for so long? To find out, we meet Robert and his friends in Mitry-Mory, in Seine-et-Marne.
He's an exceptional character. There's no one like him in France or the world, both physically and athletically. But he's also someone who wears his heart on his sleeve.
We would all like to be more like him. Why not us?
Yes, why not us? In France, unless there are exceptional episodes of increased mortality, such as a major heat wave or a severe flu epidemic, life expectancy increases by 3 months each year, which means that 1 in 2 children born today will be a centenarian.
Really? The human machine is something amazing.
A great machine that continues to work. And the first to be surprised is Robert.
It's unbelievable. Do you realise? It does millions of turns like this and it's still working.
But what are the secrets of this energetic centenarian?
Well, I don't know. There's no secret. Someone who smokes all his life or just drinks and drinks, he's ruining his life.
Robert doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, and he's very sporty. Is his healthy lifestyle enough to explain his longevity? Or do genetics play a part? Christophe Desjagers, an aging specialist, tells us everything.
25 to 30% of aging is linked to genes. That means that for the rest, from 70 to 75%, we are able to influence our bodies.
Our ability to stay young is 30% attributable to our inheritance and 70% to our way of life. Therefore, we can act to slow down aging. And Robert is the perfect example.
There are some who like to play billiards or cards, all that. My passion is exercise.
Look at these pictures taken only a few months ago. Robert Marchand was cycling through France. Today, he's clocked nearly 450,000 kilometers. Every day, without exception, our centenarian is active.
20 of these, like that, right? 20 like this, like that. Then about 20 like that. It accelerates your heart a little, doesn't it?
Followed by 20 minutes of cycling. On the food side, no special diet, but no excess.
I eat eggs, fish, sometimes some chicken, a little turkey, then a lot of vegetables.
A varied diet and a lot of sport. These are the ordinary secrets of an extraordinary character. But we don't all live as healthily as Robert. Being inactive and unbalanced diet, our body is sometimes put to severe tests. The results? We age faster than we think. But how do we know? Today, it's possible to accurately measure our aging. And Mac will test this.
Bonjour, soyez le bienvenu. Merci.
So tell me, I'm 53. Is it possible to know scientifically if my body is younger or older than my real age?
With the help of this machine, which will calculate to the nearest gram his body composition...
Come, you're going to lie down here.
Mac will be able to know the amount of fat and muscle in his body. And when the first results come in...
We see that for you, you have 18 kilos of fat for 55 kilos of muscle mass.
But that's huge. I'm carrying around 18 kilos of fat on me.
Yes.
It's incredible.
Yes, Mac. Even if you undeniably have the silhouette of a young man, your fat is still there. And Mac isn't done with unpleasant surprises. The curve indicates that he is above the average for men of his age. This means that his body is older than his real age.
You are, by and large, I would say, 10 years older.
I'm 63 years old, which is not good news.
Our specialist will now evaluate the flexibility of Mac's arteries. Arteries are essential to the functioning of our body. They distribute the blood to our organs to oxygenate them. The problem? They become rigid as they age. And again, for Mac, the result is clear.
If I understand correctly again, my arteries are almost 10 years older than my actual age.
Exactly.
So I'm closer on a cardiovascular level to a 63-year-old man than to a 53-year-old man. That's what this seems to be indicating.
That's exactly what it says, and that's where it becomes quite exciting because it gives you a very strong motivation to change.
I don't think I've ever been so motivated to resume physical activity.
Come on, Mac. Keep going. Everything is reversible. With more regular physical activity, everything could fall back into place.
And we'll see each other in 1 year.
With pleasure. I'll get going. Thank you, Doctor.
See you soon.
Goodbye.
To summarize, some people age faster than others, and this is largely related to their lifestyle. But how is it possible to fight against aging differently? How do we prevent it? Today and around the world, scientists are furthering research, and their discoveries are amazing. We head to the Genomic Institute of Lyon.
The big surprise happened 20 years ago, a little more than 20 years ago, when we realized that we were able, by modifying the activity of certain genes, to affect not only the speed of aging, but even the longevity of animals.
Here we've managed to increase the life expectancy of our favorite guinea pig by 15 times. a small worm, the nematode.
The wild worm lives on average 18 to 19 days. We have now managed to enable it to live between 200 and 300 days.
Incredible! More than 300 days instead of 19. And these guys are in great shape.
It's like taking a 75-year-old who looks and behaves like a 15 to 20-year-old. So we have animals that are in full possession of their means, that move perfectly well, that keep a kind of youth for longer.
But how is this possible? For this, researchers have not only modified the genes of worms, but also their environment by subjecting them to a drastic diet.
Caloric restriction is very interesting because it requires no complicated intervention. You just need to eat less. That being the case, I do not recommend practicing caloric restriction, because to have a beneficial effect, one would have to make restrictions that are very severe. But it works in the small nematode Cynohabditis elegans. It works in monkeys, it works in the mouse, it works in many organisms. And when it works in many organisms in biology, often, it means there is a good chance that it will work for humans too.
Indeed, 30% of the 959 cells of the nematode are similar to those of humans.
Our goal as such is not to make nematodes live longer and better, but it is actually to measure the potential and to use these results. Use these results and translate them into humans.
In the coming years, drugs that fight the effects of aging may well emerge. But in the meantime, if you want to stay in shape for up to 100 years, be like Robert. Enjoy everything, but don't abuse anything.